This has been a long time coming. You are in. I don't want to steal Director Clasper's moment when she'll tell you all that happened in this library. But just let me tell you that this place opened 67 years ago, and probably it nothing shade. There's nothing wrong with something that looks old. I like vintage, and as I get older, I continue to like vintage. But it looked like it had opened 67 years ago. The staff, great work. I want to thank you. But I'm here today to celebrate this moment with individuals who have really made this happen. We could not have done it without the folks that are here today, and of course, all of you, many of you that are in the audience. But I'm joined by our Congressman, Representative Joe Morelle of the 25th District, who you will hear from shortly, Assemblymember Sarah Clark, representing District 136, Council President Miguel A. Melendez, and he will also speak on behalf of Bridget Monroe, who couldn't be here today, but she is your representative on City Council in the Northwest District. And of course, our current library director, Miss Emily Clasper, is here. But also, let me give a shout out to the person who was here when we started doing this, our former library director, Patty Utaro, who's back there in the back. Patty thought she was going to retire. She is retired, but I have her on our Sister Cities Committee. She's chairing our Sister Cities Committee. I never, ever let people really retire, so we're so happy to be here. I love bringing back retirees, as you know. So this is a very exciting day for us in Rochester. We are grateful for the vision and leadership that the library team has put forth as it related to this project. I was told that there is someone here, and I know her very well because we go back to the pre-K program. She was here at the very first ribbon cutting of the Maplewood Library when it opened 67 years ago, and she's still an employee at the City of Rochester here at the library. Library page Bonnie Evers. Where's Bonnie? Bonnie, Bonnie, there she is. There's Bonnie. She was here when we did this. So Bonnie, it is a pleasure and honor to be able to have you here, and I hope that you like the new upgrades, and I hope that you approve of the new upgrades. You know, journalist and author, it's big, yes, you hear that, see? Journalist and author and public official Carl T. Rowan once said, "The library is a temple of learning, and learning has liberated more people than all the wars in history." Today is more than a reopening of a building. It is the celebration of a community resource that has been reimagined, expanded, and strengthened for the future. In May 2024, the library began the renovation and expansion project to better meet the needs of families who call this place a second home. To make that possible, the team temporarily relocated to the former Holy Rosary Church on Lexington Avenue. And throughout the transition, the Maplewood team demonstrated extraordinary flexibility, creativity, and dedication. Working from a converted space for the past 2 years, they continue to provide essential services, programs, and support to the community without missing a beat. So I want to thank you for your commitment to the mission of our libraries and the citizens of Rochester. Can we give it up to the Maplewood team? So today we welcome everyone back to a transformed library that adds more than 2,600 square feet of public space, bringing the library to a total of approximately 9,600 square feet. And if you look, this expanded facility includes dedicated spaces for teens, adults, and children, allowing us to better serve library users of all ages. And we have a new entrance facing Dewey Avenue. Assemblymember Clark was just saying, man, now that we have these new entrances, it's like, okay, what's the front of the library? That's a good problem to have because we got so many entrances to come in. We have new classroom space, meeting spaces, updated restrooms, a new ADA accessible entrance, and a secure children's play area. But what makes this project especially meaningful is that it was shaped by the people it serves. Community input from library users, staff members, and even a children's design committee helped guide the priorities to design this renovated space. The result is a library that truly reflects the needs, ideas, and aspirations of the Maplewood community. On average, check this out, on average, more than 7,200 people walk through Maplewood's doors every month. And I think this may be one of the most visited libraries in the system, in the branch libraries in the systems. These numbers tell an important story. The library is not simply a place where people visit, it's a place that people rely on. For many families, Maplewood is also a gateway to opportunity. The library has become an important resource for immigrant and newcomer communities. Here, Volunteer staff and community partners teach English to speakers of other languages, provide citizenship support, and offer school readiness programs to help children and families succeed. As we celebrate this reopening, we also celebrate the many people who made it possible: library staff, trustees, architects, contractors, vendors, volunteers, community partners, elected officials, donors, and residents who shared their ideas, who supported this vision from the beginning. Again, we thank you all for investing in a space that will serve many generations to come. The Maplewood Library has long been at the heart of the neighborhood, and this renovation expansion wouldn't be possible without true partnership. Now, I would like to thank. Now we're all out of ARPA funds. We had to have them spent. We have to have them spent by the end of this year. In Rochester, we got a head start. But this would not have been possible without American Rescue Plan Act funds that our congressman helped direct to our city. And I can tell you that we produced a report on how we put those funds to great use. And in that report is this great Maplewood Library. So I want to thank our congressman and have him come up and say a few words about what this library means to our community, and not only this, our community, but also our entire region. Congressman.
Thank you, my friend. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks so much, first of all, to Mayor Evans for his incredible leadership, his partnership, his friendship. And indeed, when we were putting together the American Rescue Plan funds, we urged our mayors and county executives around the country to make sure we were making transformational projects. And I can't imagine a project where it's more transformational for a neighborhood than this project. So I'm very grateful for your stewardship and your leadership and certainly your friendship. I want to thank my partners in government. I want to thank Library Director Emily Clasper. Where's Miss Burren, who's the director of the library? We want to make sure. Thank you for your leadership. And thanks to the neighbors of the Maplewood community for being here. This is your library, as the mayor said. I do want to just mention, I can't walk into a library without thinking about, as a young boy, I was over at Sully Branch, which the mayor knows we're at Sully Branch on Webster Avenue. I lived in East Arundel. The closest library was the city library, Sully Branch, which was on Webster Avenue. School 33 is right there. It's all combined now. And I literally, so I was about 10 or 11 years old. And I remember the guys I hung around with in the neighborhood, they would be forced to walk with me to the library because I said we couldn't play ball until we went to the library. So in summer weeks, every week, I would drag them. I'm not sure they were all that excited about it. I, however, was. And we would go, and I literally probably read every book they had on space travel. This was during the days of the Mercury and Gemini projects, which led to the moon mission. I read, as you can imagine, every book on politics, biographies, baseball. But I just remember how alive I felt in that library and how much it meant to me. And sad to say, I probably was overdue on a few, so I helped pay for renovations here, probably if they still charge for overdue books. But it was a place where I could read and just think about the future and about telling stories. And I think each of us can remember a place where we learned to read, a teacher who encouraged us, how it opened our lives to possibilities we could not have imagined. And libraries are so important to that. And I know that they are different now, but they still have the power of stories. So whether it's digital or audio, or whether it's reading on an app, or whether it's reading in a physical book, they still have the power of stories. I just finished a book. I set a goal every year to read, aside from my work material, 24 books a year. So sometimes I get there, sometimes I didn't, but I finished a book yesterday called Nexus. It's written by a brilliant author, Yuval Noah Harari, and talks about the power of stories, literally from the Stone Age to the modern era, and how stories really helped humanity survive and grow and expand and become the dominant part of this planet. And I thought about that as I was preparing this morning. Stories are critical to what we are as human beings. So anyway, they open doors, they connect people to knowledge, opportunity, and most importantly, to one another through the generations, through the ages. I have this unique opportunity when I'm in Congress. I'm the ranking Democrat, the top Democrat, on something called the Committee on House Administration. And one of the very interesting things is we have oversight over the Library of Congress, which is the biggest library in the world. So I go from literally Sully Branch, Maplewood, smaller neighborhood libraries all the way to the biggest library in the world, but they all have the power to bring people together, to tell stories, and to be meaningful parts of our lives. So, unfortunately, and this is not a good thing, the current administration is eliminating or proposed eliminating the Institute of Museum and Library Services, which supports libraries all over the country. We're going to continue to fight because the importance of this. And I just look around this room, people gather together in this neighborhood, in this community. This is such a meaningful moment, and will be meaningful for generations to come. Young people, young at heart, everyone will have a chance to come to a public library where you get access to those knowledge and those stories, and to bring people together. And I'm just so grateful to my partners, to the library staff, to the mayor, for recognizing the importance of investing in this for the neighborhood and for the young people and old and everyone who will come here, who will enjoy the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful space that this library has come. And I'm glad to have played a small role in getting the resources to be able to do it. So thanks so much. God bless all of you. I'm probably taking half your speech.
No, you're good. Thank you, Congressman. Great support here. It is very important. You mentioned the power of stories, and I think for all of us, it is imperative that we are ambassadors, particularly to the federal government, about what libraries do and how they can transform your lives. I spent almost all my time in libraries growing up, because libraries also do so much more than books. Remember, if you want to get a sewing machine, you can check that out at the library. If you want to go ride on a bookmobile, you can go do that at the library. If you want to go get a fishing kit, you can go do that at the library. If you want to go get a Wi-Fi MiFi device, you can go check that out at the library. So libraries have become a critical part to our community, and it's important that we tell those stories to folks as to why libraries are important. And we're blessed here in the city to have so many branch libraries, including Central Library and our town libraries. So imagine in the rural areas where they don't really have this type of thing. That's why I can understand why anybody would want to say, oh, we want to cut libraries. Don't let them cut libraries. We want to thank Joe for his continued support and belief in Rochester and its families. Our next speaker also played a pivotal role in the expansion of the Maplewood Library. She would always ask me, we do these delegation meetings, and I think every delegation meeting, she would say, what's going on with the Maplewood Library? I would say the same thing that's going on with it a week when you asked me last week. They're building it, they're working on it. They're in a special place, but we needed more dollars. And Assemblymember Clark was able to secure funds to help obtain and demolish the adjacent property to provide additional space in a new parking lot. So without this space, we would not have been able to expand the library for our patrons. So please join me in welcoming Assemblymember Sarah Clark to come up and say a few words on this occasion.
Oh, it's officially official. I just feel like this day at times was so far away, and then all of a sudden it was here, and it's so exciting. I was lucky enough to come visit a couple of weeks ago and see as this was becoming the space it is, and just, I think you had to pick my jaw up off the ground, considering where it was before. And so, for those who don't know, I live around the corner. I too am a Maplewood resident. This is my family's library, and one we have spent many a time at, especially when my kids were younger. Libraries, I feel like there's three main things here. One is just the importance of library, which we've heard over and over again from the congressman, from the mayor, and they always evolve to meet the need of whatever our community needs. It is the place people get on the internet, people come search for jobs, people take English classes here. I mean, you name it. Our libraries have figured out a way. They are no longer just the place you go get books. Their services that they provide, the way they expand and think outside of the box to what folks need and what people may want, and really becoming that hub is happening every day. And so we at the state have been trying really hard to ensure that we're continuing to support with more operating dollars for our library, but also capital money, so that spaces and places can become beautiful. But the second piece is what our branch libraries do, which are embedded in neighborhoods and really reflect those neighborhoods. As you heard, that was part of the process, ensuring that Maplewood residents could talk and hear. But this is a neighborhood that has really seen a rise in new Americans and refugees and others who are becoming such an integral part of our neighborhood. And so I can tell you, I've walked in here on days in the old space, and there wasn't an inch to be found anywhere. They made do with what they could to make sure that what we had heard, the busiest branch library in the city per square foot, for sure, was here. And it was, not quite the old quiet library of the yesteryear. They were often loud spaces, but it was because so much was happening and so many people were getting served, getting support, it's just a place to be with their friends or get homework help or whatever it may be. And that's only going to grow in this new space. It's only going to grow as you look around and see what can happen now with the way that they have created a little more, but then also just reimagined it in ways that are just going to be wild for our kids and our families and our residents. So I can't wait. But the third is just Northwest Rochester. As a resident here watching it transform, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor, for all that has happened. You look at what FoodLink has built in the urban farm on Lexington in the Edgerton neighborhood, what we have here in this library, the Maplewood Y that was done years ago, but it's still a beautiful pool and a beautiful place. We see the nature playground and the new playground at Maplewood. We see what's happening down at Charlotte, and we see what the county has put in the Roebuck Center and making these places and spaces so beautiful. And we know teen empowerment is here in the neighborhood now. You feel the energy and you feel the tide turning, that we are seeing so much more investment come in here. We are seeing these beautiful places be created, and I just feel like we're on the move, so the Northwest is really something to celebrate these days. And I'm just so excited that I was able to be a small part of it here at the library. And I know there's so much more to come. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Well, Assemblymember, I was saying to the council president before you got here, we have another huge opening coming up in Maplewood, and that's going to be the Nature Center. So I hope you'll be around for that. That is another major project that is going to be taking place here at our community. I also want to call up our council president, Miguel A. Melendez. I'm sure city council sometimes think I'm crazy, but we did this library. We're doing major renovations also at the downtown library, central library, and the facade that's out there. But we also did the Lincoln Library. That was one that we did over the last 4 years. And then we have this one. But do you know that we're also building, I'm lucky, I get to build a lot of stuff. We're actually building a brand new library in the Northeast that's going to be part housing on top, and a library on the bottom. That's going to be another Northeast library that's coming up. But all of that, I'm able to do all those things because City Council does not think the administration and the library board are too crazy, and they have been extremely, extremely supportive of the libraries. And I will tell you that our council president has led that charge along with many of his colleagues on council. So with that, I want to bring up our council president, Miguel A. Melendez, to say a few words on what this means for the community.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I would say that the amount of projects that I keep hearing in the Northwest District,
Right.
I might have some colleagues that will have a thing or two to say if we don't stop doing
Right.
them. But we got to continue to do them because we're making great progress in Northwest Rochester. This library is just a tremendous asset. I've been in this library many times before. Seeing it today is just phenomenal. The amount of investment that we put in here, but not only the investment in terms of dollars, but in terms of the people that live in this community. The people that live in this community deserve this library. Just as any other library we invest in across the city of Rochester. There are so many people that come here and visit and gain knowledge, but also literacy is a priority amongst the city. We need to increase and improve our literacy numbers across the board. And a library in the heart of a neighborhood is a part of that solution. In addition to the projects that the mayor named, I just want to get in that 10 cities also come into the Northwest.
That's right. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Huge project. So we have a lot of investment happening here. This is an asset that I think for the next 50 plus years, we will see the same amount of energy come into this space, the same amount of opportunity for residents. And as a council member, we're focused on three major categories: safer neighborhoods, quality housing, and access to opportunities for our residents. And this space will create generational opportunities for our young people in the community, for our families. And I'm very proud of all levels of government who have helped participate and make this a reality for the citizens of Rochester. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. I almost forgot about Tent City. You know, there was a fire there, but it's moving. The construction is moving in the right direction over in Tent City. And again, that's another Tent City is another opportunity of where in Northwest Rochester we are stitching things together that work. And we also used ARPA dollars, some ARPA dollars from the federal government for that as well. Those were what I call the good old days when we were partnering with the White House and not so much more. But we're here to celebrate. We want to talk about that. I want to also just ask. I don't know if Neva Nichols made it yet. I don't know if she's here, but I just want to give a shout out to someone special. I know she may not be here, but I'll send her the certificate. Neva Nichols, she lived next door to the library on Augustine Street, and she has been a trooper throughout the renovation of this project. Because I know I probably would be saying, okay, when's the noise going to stop? What are they doing? But despite the construction noise and the inconvenience, she didn't flinch and remained a positive partner. So we are so thankful for her because she knew what the end result was going to be. So she made sure that she was just so happy that we were doing this construction. And I always tell people, my sons get upset because they're like, why do you always get excited when you see scaffolding? Nothing happened yet. I'm like, when you see the scaffolding, that means other things are coming next. It doesn't mean that things are falling apart. It means that they're staging it. They're getting it ready. They're getting it ready. And I think that's probably why Assemblymember Clark would ask me every delegation meeting, what's going on with Maplewood? So we are so happy about these new possibilities. But I want to bring up Emily Clasper as our last speaker before we go out and cut the ribbon, to have Emily talk about this particular library branch, the programming that will take place, and all that is more to come with all of our libraries. Great advocate for the library, Emily Clasper.
Thank you, everybody. Aren't we lucky to live in this city, this county, this state where we have such wonderful advocates for libraries? And all of you, this is so amazing to see such a full room today of library lovers and friends. I am thrilled to formally welcome you all back to the newly renovated and expanded Maplewood Library. Since 1959, this building has been an anchor institution on Dewey Avenue, and we are overjoyed to be back home. While we were closed for renovations, though, we didn't go away. This incredible staff, yes, they are wonderful. This incredible staff packed up an entire library and converted the former Holy Rosary Church on Lexington Avenue into a makeshift library for almost a year. This was no small task. It wasn't a small operation either. They coordinated events, they held language classes for new Americans, they continued to update the collection while they were there, and they built amazing partnerships with organizations like Mary's Place and the Rochester Refugee Resettlement Services. But today we're back home in this beautiful new building. We have a long list of people to thank for that. You'll indulge me for a second while I go through, and you will please forgive me if there's anyone we left off. The list is very long. We want to thank Mayor Evans and Deputy Mayor Burns for your constant support of this project. Congressman Morelle for the funds that you helped provide for this project. It was the only thing that made this possible. Assemblymember Clark for your funding that allowed us to purchase and demo the property that we needed to expand this footprint. My immediate predecessor, Patty Utaro, this project started under her leadership. We just got it across the finish line. And the leadership of our former deputy director, Melanie Lewis. Our library board, including our past president, Donna Benjamin, and our current president, Ellen Brenner, as well as all of the members of the board who have been very, very supportive in this project. The Friends and Foundation of the Rochester Public Library, including the work of all of their staff to help raise funds for additional needs for the library. The Maplewood Neighborhood Association, the Aquinas Institute, and all of the neighbors of this community who have been wonderful partners in making sure that we were building something here that reflected the community and served all of the needs of the entire community. And the incredible staff, I'm a little bit biased, but the incredible staff of the Rochester Public Library and the Maplewood team. That team is woven into the community. Thank you all for everything that you did and do to create a space where everyone feels welcome and knows that they belong. This includes the Maplewood staffs of the past, including past branch managers David Creek and Deb Leary, and the current branch manager, Joanna Buren. Thank you. And the other RPL staff that have seen this project through and supported the Maplewood branch. The folks at the other libraries throughout the city have been very supportive of this staff, so big thanks and shout out to them, including our facilities team, our finance office, the library automation services team, and the branch administration folks who helped ensure the project came to fruition. Big thanks. This really took an entire team effort to get this all done. So when we finish today, take a look around this space and see what the future of this space will provide. We'd be happy to show you around. The expansion has allowed us to move into the future and modernize our library to accommodate 21st century library services. I can't help but smile on how we can expand and grow our services and resources along with changing needs of this community. We have a brand new classroom to support English classes for new Americans, immigrants, and refugee populations. Our kiddos advocated for some outdoor play space, and we've been able to add a small area outside that will be safe for them to play. We've got a brand new room we're calling our messy craft room, where people of all ages can have programs and get a little messy. Private spaces are here to reserve for meetings, studying, or they can be used for community partners. And we have a brand new large community room that can accommodate and support neighborhood groups and events. Love that room. I am very proud to say that Maplewood's new renovated library was built with love and intention for a community that means a lot to us. And we really can't wait to see the new memories that are made here. Thank you all so much.